Going live. Going to enter this into Instagram, and we'll get started. Boom. Well, I see Stuart said he can adjust his wife's gear shift lever on her Tri-Glide before 5. I don't know. Let's see. Is there anybody watching? 6 people. Looks like they're watching right now. So come on in and say something if you want to ask a question, and we'll talk about what we're going to go over tonight. I know this is kind of early. I usually do a live stream later in the month, but I wanted to get this one done. We got so much stuff planned, so I really wanted to get this one done. So while we're getting ready for a few more people to come on board, we're going to drink a little bit of oatmeal stout, which is one of my absolute favorite beers. And this is from a local brewery here in Central Ohio. And it's called Ol Man Ronin Smooth Jazz. It's an oatmeal stout. I really enjoy it. So if you guys are in the Columbus area sometime, might want to check them out. So we'll see. We said we got 7 people watching. What we want to talk about, and I think I mentioned it before. Hey, how you doing there, Stuart? And Andy, how you been? What I want to talk about is the couple of things that we've got going on. In particular, the new Himalayan Story segment that I'm going to be starting to do here. It won't be every week, but it will be frequent, and it's going to be a way to share some of the more experiences in more scenery type thing, because I got a lot of good responses from that video. I'll do my traditional videos as well too, but we're gonna concentrate on some of those little travel style videos as well. Thor says it's midnight there. You're in Sweden. Remind me there, Thor. I'm not sure exactly, but here's cheers to you guys so far. Well, we've been busy as heck today. I worked on Em's bike, and I did not film it because, to be honest with you, we had more issues getting into that than I could ever have imagined. I had to completely rewire the entire front end of the motorcycle. Herman says he's from the Netherlands. And Thor's from Norway. Okay, I apologize for that. If I said Sweden by accident, I apologize, Thor. And like I said, Herman's from the Netherlands, and I know Signified is from Ohio here. In fact, he's in the Columbus area. And I want to mention, are you a beer fan, Andy? Because this Ol Man Ronin oatmeal stout, if you like a dark beer, is really fantastic. Now, I don't have any ties with them, other than I take my food truck over there. That guy from Maine says, just put down a deposit on Himalayan Friday. Thanks for great vids. Hey, thanks that guy from Maine for joining us. And like I said, I love doing the Himalayan videos. I like to do the Harley stuff too, and some of the other motorcycles as well too. We're working on trying to get more access to more Royal Enfields, but it's very difficult. That's all I'll say. It's very difficult to get access to them because I really just don't want to go on a test ride around the block, if you know what I mean. That's not what I do. I want to have a little bit of time on them. Siggy says, loves the stouts. Me too. I really enjoy this oatmeal stout. And this glass is going to give me a beer mustache. And Herman likes Heineken. And that's good. I mean, you got to like what you like. It's just like motorcycles. You got to like what you like. Dave Myers. Hey, thanks for joining us, Dave. He just bought a Himalayan 300 miles so far. Well, good. You're getting close to, well, you should be close to your first service there. Ann Kuth says, hello, everyone. And what did I miss there, Stuart? You said, what'd you say? Good evening, sir. No, that was yeah. Well, apparently you got your wife's shifter fixed. I actually am able to read this now without my glasses. Hey, technology. Doug says hello from Minnesota. But like I say, ask any questions you want. And if I don't find anything that other than greeting you and telling you, welcome to the channel, I also want to tell you about what things are coming up. Like today, we were working on Em's bike, and we did a little bit on the Toad Glide too. It was a pretty rainy day today and yesterday. So what we decided to do was work on Em's bike, and I had to rewire the entire front end. After I depinned all of the Molex connectors, I realized how many times he had cut the wires, the gentleman that had the bike before, and I literally rewired the entire front end. Doug's in Minnesota. Greetings, Doug. That guy from Maine says that the exhaust seemed prone to hits off-road. One of my concerns. I've never had an issue with it, and like I said, I've taken it in some pretty. I'll put it this way: I didn't show it in one of my videos, but I have a camera that's actually higher up in the air than the exhaust is, and I whacked it pretty good with a tree limb. Again, those exhaust, what do you call those cameras? Those GoPros are pretty tough, so it didn't hurt the camera at all. But it's kind of funny in the video. I should have put it in there, but in the footage, you see me coming up and it boing, gets shot, turned right around. Thought I was going to break it off because the mount that I have on there is not one of my aluminum mounts. I wanted to have something plastic, so if I did hit something, it would break and not hurt the camera, and it didn't even break the plastic. So. But that's a good question. But what we did, we did a mock-up. If you guys follow me on Instagram, and again, it's instagram.com/Ol Man Ronin, you see kind of more what I'm doing today. And I also want to invite each and every one of you to join my Facebook group. We started one called Fans of Ol Man Ronin. And what I'm doing, and if you join Fans of Ol Man Ronin and send me your email or your address, I'll send you a free sticker. We're going to do that. We're going to throw some people some free stickers through the Facebook group, because that's a better way to, it's kind of like a forum, and I want people to be aware of that. So we've actually started a lot more stuff with the Facebook and the Instagram than what we were doing before. I built my food truck business up using both of those, but I thought Facebook was on its way out kind of, and Instagram wasn't that big a deal, and I'm really wrong. Hey, there's Jess, her two wheels. Glad you joined us, Jess. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'll give you a bunch of stickers anyways. This guy from Maine says it was a RE X25 or FL. Only the RE was reasonably available, and it seemed the best choice for Monday to Friday commuting. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, it's a good. You can ride two people, two up on it. Now you're not going to go real fast, but that's just the way it is. I'm glad you did too, Jess. I'm glad you saw it as well. Stuart says heavy poly plastic skid plate and heavy steel aluminum skid plate. Aluminum's fine. Put what you want, man. I don't know everything. I'm not putting any added steel, any skid plates on, because to be honest with you, I'm not going to be running willy-nilly through a bunch of really heavy rocks. Now, I'll climb rocks, but I think aluminum would be enough. Plastic, I don't know about that. That's something that it's like I have a plastic nose cone from Harley Davidson on the front of my Sportster 1200, and it gets chipped pretty good. So plastic would be out. Aluminum, I'd say. The one that comes on the Royal Enfield is good enough, if you ask me. It depends on what you're doing with the bike. If you're really running in that heavy of stuff, then maybe that's really not maybe you need a dirt bike. I hate to say it that way, but to ride a Royal Enfield Himalayan or an ADV bike in its own right is built for both road and off-road. And you could abuse off-road vehicles so much so that it'd be better off to get a dirt bike. And you can actually make them street legal if that's what you want to do. Let's see. Andy says he passed the MSF course. Excellent. So you got your endorsement. Had your Hemi out a couple times since then. Love it. That's good, Andy. I'm glad you like that. That's signified, if you ask me why I say her two wheels, I call her Jess. That's her name. And signified as Andy, I call her name. And S. Duval is Stuart. These guys, they're really good people, and they've told me their first names like I told you mine. My name's Jeff. So Thor says, two of my YouTube heroes. Her two wheels are running. How you like that, Jess? You got big fans in Norway as well too. That's awesome. And Stuart says, cool, you may have save me time and money. The whole idea of that is aluminum works good. I don't think it needs it more than what's on there. It depends on what you're doing with the bike. Like I say, if you're going out to Moab and you're rock crawling, then maybe the heavier steel would be better. We are global. Isn't that awesome? That's one of the things I was telling people on the last YouTube channel. And here, cheers to everybody. I'm going to drink some more of this oatmeal stout. But that is the coolest, absolute coolest thing, is we can bring a little bit of our love and enjoyment of motorcycles to a global community. And, it is a global community now. So that's awesome. Just says, really need to practice riding off-road goals. I know some places. I know you got to get back to editing. See you, Jess. Take care, and tell Jordan I said hey. Jordan is her husband, by the way, guys. So, well, let's see. I've got some really cool places, so we'll get together here soon. as far as the going off road and stuff with a lot of the really thick rocks and climbing trees and things like that, the wheelbase of the Himalayan is quite long, so it's not going to climb over like a dirt bike will, or a trials bike. Even though it has that big 21-inch wheel, which will help it go over moderately good stuff. The back end wheel doesn't have that similar height, and so you're not going to get that kind of crawling ability. Juan says, "Wow, nice to see her two wheels around." Yeah, like I say, we're not too far apart. We're becoming pretty good friends. I really enjoy her. And thanks, Stuart. Cheers back to you too. Juan, good to hear from you. We're having a lot of fun here in these live chats. As I like to do one at least once a month. And like I said, the main reason for this one was to talk a little bit about the My Himalayan Story, the series that I'm doing, and give you some updates of what's going on. What's going on in My Himalayan Story is we're going to go to different scenic places that I've never been before in close proximity. And I'm not going to go all over the world right now, but in close proximity, and just people really seem to like that type of video, so that's what we're going to try to do some more of those. Now, they won't be every week, like I mentioned earlier, but they will be more frequently than what you might expect. And we're going to keep doing the builds. I've got some parts coming in on the Himalayan that we're going to be putting on in the next couple of weeks. I did work on M's Sportster today, and like I mentioned before, I didn't really do filming on it because I had so many issues with the front end. When you buy used bikes like I do, and you do rebuild them, I don't necessarily go all the way to the frame and back out. On her bike, we just made sure that the engine run good. We made sure that the brakes were good and exhausted, and everything was copacetic, the lighting and things like that. After we did the handlebar job, and she went from some small 12-inch apes to 14-inch, more standard type apes, we realized there was a tremendous problem in there. And if you watch some of the other videos I've done, or any of my Instagram Mondays or Fridays, which I do about a 7 to 8 minute video on Instagram, you'll see that we had to, they were not a Z-bar, but they were like a 90-degree angle and a 90-degree angle, two of them. And instead of snaking them around and doing it the right way, he cut them in each place. And so I had to literally, and there was no original wiring. And so what I did is I had to pull the Molex connector off, and he actually didn't even use another Molex connector. He stuck them in there and then taped it, which was a disaster. So what I had to do is untape it, buy a couple Molex connectors, actually 3 of them, for the headlight, for the right side and the left side, and then repin and rewire. And then I went to Harley-Davidson and got the right color wires, so I was able to make it original now. That way, in case she decides to sell the bike and she wants to have, the next person I'm going to have the same issue that I had. Peter says, "Hello from Stuttgart, Porsche Mercedes, and we love her 2 wheels." And he goes, "Hair 2 wheels." Yeah, is that a German thing? No. We really appreciate people from all over the world, and Peter, very welcome. Any pre-pics of the wiring job? Yeah, I've got them on my phone, and I'll probably share them in the Facebook group. That's going to be a place for that kind of stuff. Things that don't quite make it to YouTube or don't quite make it to Instagram. That'll be more of that. And it's called Fans of Ol Man Ronin, if you're curious. Go join. I have to approve you because we don't want to have any people on there, doing ads. I'm not even advertising anything on there myself. I might tell you, hey, go to my Etsy page and get the T-shirts, and they should be out in the next couple of weeks. So you'll be able to see that. But yeah, it was fun. I'll put it to you that way. Now, I am going to depin and rewire my Toad Glide. Not rewire, but depin and repin when I put the new handlebars on, which I did a mock-up today. If you go to Instagram, you'll see that mock-up handlebars that are on there. I just didn't do any wiring yet. I wanted to see what it was going to look like and see if I liked it. Sat on the bike, up on the lift, and see how it felt. And I think I'm going to keep it that way. I'm going to get the lines more flowing even, and I think this will be a way. You're going to make me excited. Well, I mean, it doesn't cost anything. Juan says, "Ronin, any updates on the T-shirts?" Yeah, I just mentioned a minute ago. They're going to be in the next couple weeks. Like I said, for some reason, the printer that I'm using, and or the T-shirt lady, who's fantastic, by the way, but they were so busy. They were inundated here in the month of February and March, and so we were still working on designs. And when we finally decided, they were 4 to 6 weeks out. So we're coming. We're almost there, and I think they're going to be nice. I don't have a picture of them that I can share with you. I don't have the computer savvy that a lot of folks do to put some stuff on the screen. But what I'll tell you is that there are. It's going to be cool. The first version is going to be the Ol Man Ronin crew, and it's going to feature the logo in the front, and in the back it'll be a non-descriptive motorcycle with Ol Man Ronin crew at the bottom, and it should be pretty exciting. And the second one is going to be like it's going to be have a standard style nondescript motorcycle next to some palm trees, and it says no excuses as far as where you want to go in the world. And I think that's really important too. And like I said, we're going to try a bunch of different designs. If you're members of my Patreon, then you see those designs ahead of time, because I post them and get the opinions about that as well too. So that's something that Patreon gets. We don't really, what we do for the Patreon is, since they're kind enough to help me, what we're going to do, no excuses, no regrets. What we do with those guys is we send them free stickers, and we also give them a free Ol Man Ronin crew T-shirt. That's because, I mean, they help me so much. So that's one of the perks. That's the only thing we're really doing, other than, if you are a member, I do have a Himalayan service manual that you can download on that. So that's something else that if you might be interested in this too. Yeah, regrets. I got it. Stuart, he's always the guy, right? Well, it's tasty. But going on to what we were doing today in the garage, besides doing the working on the Sportster, the next step on her bike is I bled the brakes out, and the next step on her bike is to do a new clutch cable, because she's quite a bit taller on the handlebars. And I'll put some. We'll do a kind of like an unveil on YouTube when I finally get it done and get her ready to go. And she's been riding it for a couple of years now. She really enjoys her Sportster. Obviously, she would love to have a Softail Slim, but I would too. They're nice, they're beautiful bikes. But I'd like to get her to ride one of the Continentals or the Interceptor, and I would like as well too. But again, it's really difficult for access. It's a shame. What can I say? But I'm working on something, and I don't know if it'll come true or not, but we'll have to see. We got 27 people was watching. Now it's dropped a little bit, but any questions on the Himalayan or any of the other adventures we've got planned coming up in the very near future? Again, I want to make sure I tell everybody that the best place to find me, if you want to get a hold of me in between YouTube, which is every Sunday, we're doing the video tonight. And then on Wednesday. But then on Monday on Instagram, I do a short little Monday update. And on Friday, I do a Monday update. And, of course, throughout the week, I post stuff on Instagram all the time. And I'm going to do a similar type of thing on Facebook, the fans of Ol Man Ronin and the Ronin. It won't be the same thing, but it'll be on the Ronin page as well, too. Thor says, bought a handlebar from Alien Express to do my Honda, but it was 2 millimeters, a little too little. The original handlebar is 25 millimeters. Any ideas? So your handlebars are, I'm taking it that 27 millimeters would be a perfect height, length of the wire. The only thing you can do, the wiring you can splice, I don't recommend it. I would recommend buying, and I don't know for Honda if they do that, maybe your only option. I don't know that much about changing handlebars on Hondas. I'll be quite honest with you. But if you can find similar colored wires, you can splice in. Make sure you solder and then shrink tube. Don't crimp, because crimp creates, a lot of times you're using aluminum versus other materials, and there's a possibility of corrosion in there, and there's also a possibility of weakening lines. So even when I was doing all of my pinning, I soldered all the little pins on M's bike, and I had to make some connections where there was two similar color wires that were feeding into one pin that I had to make a 2-into-1 connection. And what I did is I stripped a little piece of wire out and then added the end. I cut it off, added the end to it, wrapped it around there nice and tight, and then soldered it, and then put shrink tube over it, and that'll be permanent. And there's low resistance in something like that. The big problem you have to watch with wiring, Thor, is anytime you make a connection or a break in the connection and you do a rewire, using wire nuts or using the crimp, you have a danger of having either corrosion and or high resistance, and that will affect the performance of that machine. So that's why I say all the time, solder. That's a pure connection, and that'd be the best way to go. Now is, I don't know what UF means. Do you now UF? Do you know now UF? I'm not sure what that means, Peter, but come back with me on what that means. As far as your brake system, that's going to have to be new. As far as the hydraulic brakes, as far as your throttle cables, that will have to be new. You're going to have extensions for that. Since you're doing all that, you might as well just get new wiring harness as well too. So, like I said, I hope that was a little helpful for you. Wiring is kind of one of the things I like to do, but I hate to do it at the same time. I like to do it when it's fresh. I hate to do it when somebody else is playing with it. Andy says you decided on Panniers for Himalayan. Yes, I did, and I will announce it here. We are buying, and I'm not getting anything for free. Guys, I'm not a sponsored man. I wish I was. I wish I had 100,000 subscribers or 300,000 or 500,000 subscribers. It would pay me enough money that I could just go out and throw things where I want it, but I don't. I'm a little channel, and I decided there's a company called Lomo, and they're out of the UK. And these guys, they build wetsuits. That's their main business. And the Lomo system is, I'm getting Pannier satchels, wires, not wires, but straps right to the braces or the brackets that I got. They also make some for the crash bars up front. They also make a tank bag. They also make a large duffel that'll fit over top of both of the panniers and off that rear carrier in the back. And they also make a backpack that you can actually tie to any of these things. And it's a cool company. Stuart says steel him. Yeah, the steel cases. That's where I'm going. But I'm going with the Lomos because I don't think a company that makes their living from wetsuits is going to steer me wrong. And I found these online, and I doing some research on them, and not only on that, but the wetsuits, and that's where I'm going with. They're called Lomo, Lomo. And if you want to find them, I think it's lomowatersports.uk. Don't quote me on that. I don't have it written down in front of me. But they do sell to the U.S. and they sell worldwide, so you can buy them. If you do, please just say you saw it on the Ol Man Ronin. That'll help. No, it won't help me out. It don't do anything. I pay it full price, so it really won't do anything for me other than saying, hey, this guy told us to go there. Andy says, I'm looking at Lomo as well. Good bang for your buck from what I've heard. Yeah, and they're not that expensive. And like I said, and I think the whole idea with the panniers and everything else is to keep things dry. And what I was afraid of with the Royal Enfield or the GV hard cases is the fact that if you drop it, which you will, especially if you do things off-road, you will put that thing on its side. I was afraid of damage coming from it being bended, which is one of the reasons I went with the GV crash bars as opposed to the Royal Enfield ones that come out and just do a little bend, because the GVs are literally bolted into themselves through the frame, and I think it'll give me a little bit more protection. One of the things that I wish that the front crash bars had was that same kind of through bar that would give more center stability. I would say I'm thinking about doing things that would change on my Royal Enfield, and that would be one of them. The crash bars, I would want a bar that goes completely through. That would give it more strength in case you do, and I should say when you do your dropping, which will happen, no doubt about it. As far as another thing that I would change on the Himalayan, I would make the pegs wider. I think it's better gripping that way. Now I've had both the rubber on and off. I just like it a little bit wider for more road driving, and I think that would be a good tip. And definitely a replacement, and I don't mean replacement is taking off and putting another one on. I'm talking about placing the ambient temperature sensor somewhere else because that thing picks up the heat from the engine, and it'll be 40 degrees out, and it'll say it's 75. So it is what it is. Peter says, if the RE have concrete plan for a bigger one-cylinder engine, I'm not interested in two. And that is the way that I look too. I've mentioned that several times in several videos. I don't want the 650 twin in the Himalayan. I really don't. I think it's a shorter stroke to begin with, which means it's going to be a little higher revving. I would rather see them take what that engine is. I mean, they built that engine special for the Himalayan at 411 cc's. And I don't even think they have to, but if they want to make the engine bigger, then make it a 500 or a 525, and you're done. Keep it a single cylinder, long stroke, because that's where that low end torque is. And if you guys are watching a lot of my videos, which I know Stuart is, and Peter is, and Andy is, and Thor is, that I mean, I'm crawling that bike with barely, if nothing else, throttle and using the friction zone, and I'm able to go anywhere I want to go with it. And a higher revving bike would stall every time, or you'd be revving it up so high that you'd overheat your clutch. And that's one of the things. I've seen that many of the YouTubers place the sensor in the tool pack, and I'll be honest with you, I moved up there temporarily and and it made virtually no difference, maybe 10 degrees. I don't want, if I want an ambient temperature, I don't even look at it. I'll look at my phone, because that's where I'm going to get a better idea of temperature. That number, they could take that completely off the bike and it wouldn't bother me. The little compass, the same thing. I don't need it. I mean, I don't need it. I guess it would be, because the problem is if my phone battery's dead and I can't charge it through my charger and my charger that I have as far as on the bike, the USB ports, I have and I carry a lymphatic compass anyways, and I know how to navigate. So I think that's more important. So if you guys have any I don't know. I've been an outdoorsman most of my life. I've mentioned a lot of people I've seen some of the videos and talked to in person that I've been all over the country hunting elk and deer and everything. I don't hunt anymore. I kind of like to watch them now. But I learned a long time ago, when you're way up in the mountains of Colorado, Montana, or Wyoming, that you better know how to navigate. And it's something I learned here in Ohio as well too, is some of the farm country and stuff like that, or some of the woodland areas that we have. I learned how to read a lymphatic compass, and I can go, if I have a chart, which I always carry a chart with me of where I'm going if I don't know where I'm at. Like around here I don't use it, but if I'm going to an area that has a lot of BLM land, I carry a chart of that area, and I carry my lymphatic compass, and I always carry a backup compass too, because you never know, you drop and break one. I'm redundant. I like to keep things in good working order, which is why I wash, clean, and service my motorcycles all the time. And I like to have redundancy because there's an old saying that I learned a long time ago. 2 is 1, 1 is none. So if you carry a pocket knife, carry 2 pocket knives. If you have one 10mm wrench, have 2 10mm wrenches. Or in our case, 1 1/2-inch wrench, 2 1/2-inch wrenches. Always have redundancy. That guy from Maine says +1 greater than, exactly, from Comfort. Gary's Rambling says, hi, Ol Man Ronin, just joined in. Any news getting a test ride on the Rocket or anything else yet? Yeah, I'm working on that. The only day that I can go over and test ride that is going to be on a Tuesday, and I've got to, obviously they're not going to let me take it out in the rain. So we're planning in Ohio. It is April showers bring May flowers in Ohio, and we're working around the rain right now. But after it gets a little bit more stable, then boom, I'm over there. And in fact, we're looking at the weather right now to maybe go over and do that on Tuesday. Stuart says 1 cylinder, 2 cylinders. Nah, I agree. 1 cylinder is better. In fact, that's why most dirt bikes are single cylinders, and it's for a reason. Low end torque, and they don't rev to 20,000 RPM. Obviously, not too many do, but you know what I'm trying to say. Stuart also said, just bring along the wife. They always know if it's too hot or too I don't have that kind of wife, so it's okay. That's fine. We're country folk, so it can't be too hot and it can't be too, it can be too cold. But we were out today. Like I say, it was a pretty off and on rainy day today. We had a couple really good showers. It started this morning fairly sunny. I thought, well, I might be able to get out and do a thing, but I wanted to make sure that a YouTube video, but I wanted to make sure that take Mike, she's cheap. I hope she's watching this with you because you're liable to get cut off pretty quick here. But I was thinking about doing a video, but then I seen what the weather's going to be like, and I really wanted to get M's bike ready. I had all the parts. I literally have everything done except for right now putting your clutch cable in. And while I'm going to do that, I'm going to do a full service on it as well too, because when you get into changing the clutch on that Sportster, you have to take you just have to take the inspection cover off. But I'm going to drain the entire oil out of it because it's been probably 3,000 miles since we did the last time, and I want to change it. Again, the more oil, the fresher the oil, the higher the viscosity, the better it is. And I know there's a lot of manuals that said, oh, you don't have to change your oil for 10,000 miles. I would never do that. Everything 3,000, end of story. That guy from Maine says, I hit the goal of riding year-round here in Maine. What is cold for you? Say, well, I'll tell you, you'll have to watch some of my other videos. I was riding in temperatures as low as 17 degrees Fahrenheit. We really didn't get too much really colder than that this year. It was kind of mild year. We had some snow, but we didn't have too many real cold. I think the wind chill was 17 below, according to the chart at the speed I was going. But I have ridden all year round my entire life, and so that's not really a thing. It's the coldest I've ever ridden was since 1978 during the blizzard of '78. I was riding just because I was some ass at that time, and I wanted to prove I could do it. And we had some 20 below temperatures. Now I wasn't going 70 miles an hour, but I did ride in the blizzard of '78. Now a lot of you guys, I don't know how old you are, or what part of the world you're in, but we had a major blizzard in Ohio in the Midwest that year. And we had two of them, actually, one in '77 and one in '78. Gary said, I took the rocket out this afternoon in the sunshine. I hit sleet and rain. By the time I got back, it looked like I'd been in a swamp. Well, yeah, I mean, that's just riding in the rain, though. And that guy from Maine says negative 39. Is that, what, 39 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 39? You have to get me on that one because Maine gets cold. I do know that. I'll tell you what, not a commercial, guys, but I love this oatmeal stout. It's like I say, Andy, have you ever been up there, Andy, up to Ol Man Ronin? If you do, ask for Greg. He's a good friend of mine. I like him. Oh, he's 39 is what I meant. Okay, gotcha. Sorry about that. Yeah. So no, you don't probably remember that. Sean says cheers, and we'll cheers you right back, Sean. Excuse me, Stuart. I don't know why I called you Sean. Apologize. Well, we had 20 people. We were up at 27 at one time. I know we didn't really advertise this one too much, except for on YouTube, and it was only we posted it last night. Stuart's over 60. Me too, Stuart. I'll be 63 this year. Yeah. I don't feel like it. I got a kick because a lot of people say, you don't sound like you're that old when you're on your motorcycle. Well, it's the background noise. And Michael Christopher says, what's up? Having a beer, man. That's what's up. I'm talking to these wonderful people who love to follow us. Michael says he's picking up his Himalayan next Saturday. Where are you from, Michael? The guy from Maine is still riding. That's what counts. Yeah, I got a kick out of there's a company on Instagram that keeps saying, and they keep advertising all the time, motorcycle stuff. And he said, and they made a comment saying, you don't get old, you're never too old to ride until you quit riding, then you die, or something like that. And I said, well, I'd be the perfect spokesperson for you. And that didn't go over either. And Stuart says, congrats on Mike to Michael. Yeah, congratulations, Michael. That's awesome that you're picking up your bike. And what did you get? Which color? That Red Rock has been selling like mad. I knew a lot of people were getting it. I know Andy got the, which is Signified, got the granite gray or gravel gray, whatever it's called. Truth 401, glad to see you, Truth. Glad you joined in. Do I like Do you like the stock tires on the road? Yeah, they're fine. Off-road, not so much. That's not what they're built for. And in several videos that I've done in the past, he went to Lake Blue. That'd be pretty. Hey, guys, you'll notice a lot of times, well, in every video, I either do a Patreon shout-out, which is every one of the Patrons that are part of the Ol Man Ronin crew, and I'll do a featured subscriber. So if you send me a picture to my email of you and your bike, I don't want just your bike, but you and your bike will make you a featured subscriber. I've got a few ahead already right now. I always get quite a few people that send me pictures of their stuff, and we always make a featured subscriber. And I think Andy's got one coming up pretty soon. So that, again, it's olmanronin@gmail.com. Send me a picture of you and your bike, and I'll make you a featured subscriber. Michael Christopher says he's in North Dakota. He just got back from a 450-mile road trip to test to drive the Himalayan. Unfortunately, I didn't get my truck with me, so I had to go back next week to get it. Gravel grade. You're just like Signified. He has the same color. Truth says, yeah, I felt the same way on them. Yeah, I have in my last video that it shows the camping spots. It shows me riding up through an area, and the beginning of it says "Ye doggy," which is something we say around here. I don't know how many people say it, but out in this part of my part of Ohio, Northeast Ohio, that's something we say. And yeah, they're not good in the mud at all. They lock up and they will not. I mean, they're better than road tires, but so they're great on gravel. They're great on dirt roads, but as far as anything really off-road, no, they're not that good. I'm changing mine, but I want to wait and get a few more miles out of them before I do it. I mean, I can get it to go pretty much anywhere I want to go, but it's one of those type of things that they're not the best for off-road, to put it to you that way. Okay, let's see. I'm keeping up here, or not keeping up here. Truth says, yeah, I felt the same way. Doug Cooper says, Michael, which dealer? Stuart says, oh, I keep forgetting about the picture. Arg. Andy says, on the new Himalayan, Michael. Yep. No white color in Germany to buy. Oh, that's too bad. That's I don't even know if they're continuing that. I heard they're not going to. That may be the reason. Michael says, outdoor motorsports and spearfish, South Dakota. Stuart says, what we say in Louisiana can't print here. You can. I mean, I don't care. That guy from Maine says, what tires do you suggest on trail tires that don't suck on the road? And that's something that I'm still working on. I'm probably, I don't know, because there's a couple ones that I'm looking at, and I want to get a better feel for them and do some, say, well, we thought we were just like every other YouTuber goes out there and just tries to sugarcoat things. No, I'll tell you what's going on. I'll tell you why I love the Himalayan. And I'll tell you why things that I think needs to be fixed, but there's not that many. And that's the thing that surprises me, which creates that love level go even higher. I really enjoy that bike. And one of the very first videos that I made on the Himalayan, I said, the bike makes me smile more than any other motorcycle I've ever had, because it's done more things for me personally than I could ever imagine. And it's done things for me enjoyment-wise on the motorcycle that I haven't done in a long time. And, like I said, I'm a Harley guy at heart, and I've ridden all kind of motorcycles from all over the world and owned all kind of motorcycles. I currently, if you guys don't know, have 6 Harley Davidsons in the garage. The Himalayan makes the 7th one motorcycle. And like I said, I like to buy bikes and rebuild them. It's kind of a hobby. I haven't done a whole lot of that on the YouTube channel yet because I don't know if that's what people want. Again, I don't want to show you what I want. I want to show you what you want. And that's why I always take suggestions. I get comments all the time on my channel about what people say they want to see, and I try to follow that. Okay, let's see. I lost a little bit. Here we go back. Thanks. I stopped and test rode there. Wanted an old 535 Continental GT. Luis from Argentina. How you doing, Luis? He says, my Himalayan will be delivered in a month. I've chosen black. That's the color I like. All of my motorcycles are black. It's just what it is. I love it. Michael says, at Doug Cooper, thumbs up. Dennis says, has your Speedo ever developed condensation in it? No. And I've heard a few people say that. Now, one of the things that the Himalayan can do is you can take it apart. I don't recommend doing that. But if you do get a lot of condensation, the best thing I would tell you is to, while you're in your garage, put a plastic cover over it with silica gel pads all over the front of it. I always save those goofy little things. My wife gets mad at me because I save those stupid little silica pads. But for that kind of thing, it'll pull condensation out. And so use that kind of stuff. But I have not had a problem. And I wash my bike probably more than most ADV riders do, because I do it almost every time I'm done riding. I want a clean bike. I want to see what's going on. Because when I wash the bike, I rub my hands over everything, and that way I can feel for the loose bolts. And I do have to say that I've had a few bolts I've found that were loose, not backing out or anything, but then I go through and tighten everything all the time, especially after I've been riding really hard trails. I don't film everything on the Himalayan. Maybe I should start, but like I said, I've been to some pretty rough roads and some pretty hard stuff, and so I make sure that I tighten things and make sure everything is good. And I use a lot of blue, red, and red Loctite. Okay, let's see. Dennis says that, and Stuart says such a friendly bike. It is. Doug Cooper says on my third set of Shinko 244s on the Himley, sixth set overall on other machines, great all-around tires, and that's one of them I'm looking at. I have a Shinko on some of my Harleys. They're good tires, and that's what makes me leaning that way. Stuart says no condensation for him, and he's down in Louisiana where there's fog every day, right, Stuart? And that guy from Maine says, I'd like to see more woods riding. And there is lots of that coming. In fact, I'm going to be doing some, I've done some moto camping, and it's just in the mix of me getting ready to edit it. I've got a lot of filming done, and I just want to make sure that I have the time to do it. Now, this week here, I was planning on doing a live stream, but I got so busy building the chicken coop. Not a coop, but a chicken run. I don't know if any of you guys, I don't know how many of you guys live in the city or whatnot, but we have a pretty nice piece of property, and we have chickens, and I'm building a run, and I'm working on that, mowing the yard. I mow about 4.5, 5 acres. That takes time, working a full-time job and doing YouTube videos. Michael says, does a Himalayan owner's manual contain torque specs? No, but if you're a member of my Patreon page, I have a service manual that you can download right on it. And you don't have to, you can do $1 1 month and then get it and then quit. It doesn't matter. I put it up there for Patreons to give them something extra. But if you want to go on there and become a Patreon, like I say, you can pledge $1 a month, and you could go on there and download that service manual, and it gives you everything you need on how to change the oil, how to do a full service, how to adjust the clutch, how to take the engine apart, the whole wiring diagram and everything. Stuart says the alligators have rust on them. Well, yeah, those steel alligators. What do they call it? Mecha Godzilla. It's Mecha alligator. And see, that's one of the things that's important about these live streams is, not only things that I say, but other people say on the web, on the channel as well too. So that's awesome. Doug says he's getting about 6,500 miles. That's pretty good for an off-road tire. That's really good, actually. Peter says 2 years ago I met two guys from the Netherlands near Dakar and Senegal on her trip. Okay, I don't know who on their trip probably. They said that the tires from Hedenau must be great. What do you think? I don't know. To be honest with you, I've never heard of that brand. And Michael says, will do. Stuart says, laughing out loud. Lewis says, here the Himalayan now comes with the CEAT instead of Pirelli. Cheap move for RE. I don't know that brand either. I'm sorry to say. Again, I don't know if that's something that the factory's doing, which I imagine it is, instead of the Pirelli. The Pirelli tires, I have no complaints on them other than in the dirt and the mud. As far as on the road, they do great. I'm not going to disrespect them any way. It's cool to be able to have two sets of tires, because if you're doing mostly commuting and road travel, those tires they're going to be great for you. I might get my hands in front of my face. Sorry about that. But they're going to be great for you. I really enjoy them. They're good in the rain, and they were decent in the snow. Ice, nothing's good. I mean, even a tank will slide. So, wow, we've been on for 45 minutes already. That's awesome. Like I say, I hope you guys are enjoying these kind of live streams. I really enjoy doing them. They're one of my favorite things to do. I like being in contact with the fan base and the people who follow me. I really do like it. Lewis says, seats are the ones they always used in India. Oh, I got you. Maybe they, it could be that they got a better deal, and I don't know. You know how factories work. Stuart says there are at least 2 Pirelli tire factories. Some in Chile are less well thought of than others. Peter says Heidenau is a very popular company here in Germany for tires. I'm sure it's probably like Cooper is here in the States as far as for cars and things like that you don't see them many overseas, but you see them here in the United States. It's kind of the same kind of thing, and that's great. If they're good tires, like I said, I personally never heard of them, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm the first to admit that I don't know anything. I just know what I know, and that's the best way I can say it. But to get back to some of the other trips we've got planned, I'm going to be, like I say, I'm working on for Wednesday's video a test ride, and if I can pull it off, if not, we'll be doing one of the videos that I've got in the books already that we're going to finish editing and put up. If I do get the test ride that I want to do on Tuesday, then it'll be an exciting test ride. And if you joined earlier in the conversation, you heard me say which one that was. So what's everybody drinking out there tonight? Like I say, I've got the oatmeal stout from Ol Man Ronin. What are you guys all drinking? Or are you just doing water? Because I have both. Bikram Saha, glad you came to the channel there, Bikram. Glad to see you there. Tried to go on a trip to, however you pronounce that, in the Himalayas. It is built for that. I mean, that's hence the name. And they have a ride over there. They used to do it before COVID, and I don't know if they're still doing it afterwards or not, where they would take different bikes up to the Himalayas in that particular town. How do you say that? I don't know. Lakha? I don't know. I probably destroyed that, but I would love to do that trip. That's a bucket list thing for me. And same thing with the Trans-America Trail. That's a bucket list thing for me to do too. It's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime thing because I am almost 63 years old, and I don't know how long my body will be able to handle those kind of stresses. I'm going to do as long as I possibly can. But again, you have to realize that like Clint Eastwood says, man's got to know his limitations. And I know I'm not a 25 or 30-year-old man anymore, so it is what it is. But I've had a blast life, and I've had a tremendous amount of fun on motorcycles since I started riding, guys, when I was 6 years old, 6 years old, on a Rupp 100. And that was an Ohio-made little mini motorcycle, 100 cc's, and it was a blast. Its pronunciation is Leiladach. Oh, good. Well, now I know. I appreciate that, Bakram. Stuart says, got to stop talking about age. Well, I mean, because you're probably, older than me? That's why. You can stop talking about it. I'll keep talking about it because, that's in my name, Ol Man Ronin. Somebody asked how I got that nickname. And I've had it for at least 40 years. And the reason why is because I had a few motorcycle clubs back in the day ask me to join. And I said, nah, I don't really do that. I don't join clubs. I don't join organizations. I'm me. And they said, well, you're like a lone wolf. I said, no, I've got more talent than that. And then the old saying came up because I used to do a lot of martial arts is, well, then you're just a masterless warrior. So you're a Ronin. And it stuck. And I've been called that for years and years and years. Doug says, Himalayans are built for every trip. Yeah, you should have hashtagged, I'll do it for you here while I get a second. So. There. All roads, no roads. And I think that fits better than any other description. It really is. The Himalayan is built for all roads and no roads. And, there's so many small ADVs out there now in the market. You can buy, I know that the Chinese actually knocked it off, the Himalayan. I don't know what they're calling it. I don't know what the quality is. I probably will never see one, but because I don't see hardly any of those Chinese bikes. I've never seen one on the road. I live within an hour and a half of Columbus, Ohio, and that's a big market for that kind of stuff, and I've never seen one. So I don't know. I've never even seen a Hai Song, which is, I think, a Korean-made motorcycle. I know nothing about them. But there's a lot of Harleys around here, and obviously there's a lot of Hondas and Suzukis and BMWs and whatnot. Don't see very many Ducatis, which is a shame because I love that motorcycle. And I've seen virtually no Moto Guzzis, which are literally the Italian Harley, we always call them, because they have the same kind of issues Harley Davidson does. So if you're not good with the wrench, don't buy a Moto Guzzi or a Harley Davidson. And that's what I've heard about Royal Enfield, but I've not had that issue. Now again, I've only have a couple 3,000 miles on mine right now. But I don't know if there's a difference between I've never ridden anything newer than a 2018 Himalayan. I have EFI, but I do not have ABS, and I really don't want it. I depend on engine braking to slow me down in situations like that. But as far as all the new fancy stuff that's on it about taking the ABS off and on or whatever, I don't have any of that stuff, and I haven't test ridden the new one. I don't know what they're like in comparison. I would guess they're really similar, though. Gary says, once the pandemic lifts, I'm supposed to be teaching in Australia for 5 weeks. The company says I can stay there for a few weeks for a holiday. Can't wait to take that one off. That'd be a great time, man. I've been to Australia, but it's been a long time ago, back in the 90s. And it was a lot of fun over there, and there's a lot of good beer there. And again, I'm a big beer fan anyways. Backroom says, I'm going to buy one of the first bikes ever in October. And if you ever come to India, do a live before that. India and Bullet are not built for commuters. For commuting, Royal Enfield has the Interceptor. And that's, I mean, I see a lot of Bullets on that Himalayan trip too. They ride the Himalayans and they ride the Bullet up in those mountains. And I'm sure that's you said exactly what the words are for. However, you can commute on the Himalayan. It's just, like I said, the Interceptor would be better by far. Bikram says Himalayan by itself means for the mountain. Yes, and I did know that. Dennis says, passed my test at 60, just bought a Himalayan at 74. Congratulations, Dennis. And you just like say, you're never too old to ride. Well, maybe you are. Not you, Dennis, but some people. Backroom says, congratulations, Dennis. And Stuart says, cheers. And we got to give him a cheers. If you're riding at 74, brother, thank you. You know, one of the T-shirt designs I was looking at had a motorcycle and a car in it, and I said, I'd rather see more of these than more of those. And that's exactly the truth. Cars, I mean, I have a truck and a Jeep. That's what we ride. And the wife has a little Fiat 500, which she just loves to death. It's her second Fiat. And but as far as when we go out to have fun, it's always motorcycles. Thor says, Scott, he's giving you a cheer too there. So, and where did what's his first name? Was it Peter? He has got to say Prost. Prost. Or the Italians would say chin chin. But yeah, we've been on now for almost an hour, and like I said, if you have any questions you want to ask me about upcoming videos, wow, Backroom, it's 4:22 a.m. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think I've seen your name there, and like I said, I get quite a few comments, which I really encourage, and I am so glad, and I guarantee I'll remember it now if I didn't before. Got to remember I am an old man running. That guy from Maine says, everybody's goal is to be an old man still riding, so perhaps that guy on a bike is worth a shirt design. That could very well possibly be. So if, let's say, Dennis, contact me through olmanronin@gmail.com. Stuart says, are you a... No. I would probably more of a Robert De Niro style. That's all I'll say. Although my favorite book that I read, and all my sons have it, and I've been sharing it to all my really good friends. It's called Book of Five Rings, and it's written by Miyamaya Musashi. I'm a huge fan of his, and if you don't know who he is, he was literally a Ronin, or a master of samurai back in the 1500s, and he was never defeated in battle. I think his first victory was at the age of 13 years old against a full-grown man. And yeah, he's very good artist. So I encourage you, if you really want to learn more about what I talk about and what my philosophies are, it's based upon him and obviously Sun Tzu's Art of War. I'm really into that kind of thing. You've noticed, I don't know if you can tell in the background there's quite a few Japanese style artifacts up there that I got when I was in Japan. But then again, I did study jiu-jitsu and also Muay Thai. Those are two of the special the martial arts that I studied when I was younger. And my son just became a brown belt, which I'm really happy about that. So that made me happy. Spell it, please. Oh, Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu obviously is the art of war. Let me see if I can. I'm going to destroy it. I will look it up the exact spelling because I don't remember off the top of my head. Bear with me, guys. Here it goes. That is my favorite book of all time. Silence Project. Yes, dude, it's your fault. Looky what I can do. I know you appreciate that. If you guys know what that reference is from, back in the 90s, there was a TV show called Mad TV, and there was a little guy. He wasn't a little guy. He was a full-grown actor. And acted like a child, and always done stupid things and saying, "Looky what I can do," which reminds me of a lot of YouTube videos, actually. Oh, I said rigs. It's supposed to be rings. Sorry. Sorry about that. Anyway, we're up to 20 viewers, and like I said, the Microm says, "What is your plans on the Himalayan? Are you planning to get any other Royal Enfield?" As far as buying, I don't buy new bikes, Microm. I don't. I buy used bikes. In fact, my Himalayan was a used bike. Now, what made it nice is when I started the channel, all I had was Harley Davidsons. And I was looking to do the Trans-American Trail in 2020, however, COVID. And I was going to I bought a 1200 Sportster that I was going to make into a scrambler. It was in really rough condition. I mean, I caught it really cheap, but it was really rough condition. And so I took it around my backyard and I rode it around at between 5 and 20 miles an hour for like an hour and a half, just back and forth, trying to get it to give the same kind of things that you're going to do on a lot of the trails in the Trans-America Trail. And it got so hot that it was incredible. And after it cooled down, I ended up putting all the luggage that I was going to carry on, all the stuff on it, and I packed it on there, and I put it on the ground because it was in bad shape anyways. And I struggled to pick it up. And so I said, well, that's not going to be an option. So I instead turned it into my Garage Queen, if you've seen in other videos. What I did instead is I started looking at, I watched Itchy Boots, and I got to give Norley a lot of credit. She really turned me on to what the Himalayan was. I didn't even know there was such a thing back until I saw her. And then another one called Kamikaze Moto out of Alaska. And I watched those guys take those motorcycles on extremely long distance rides with virtually no problem. And so I started looking for one, and they came up, and when I was looking at them, the nearest dealer to me at that particular time was 2.5 to 3 hours away. And that's too far. And obviously, and it was too much money for me. They were only like, I think probably about $5,000 out the door. But at the time, that's too much money for me. I'm just a simple, country boy redneck who cooks for a living. That's my main job, and takes care of property and raises animals. That's what I do. As far as me being able to drop a lot of money, I don't. I mean, people say, well, you got 5 Harleys. I have less in all of those, or 6 Harleys. I got less in all of those Harleys than one brand new bike. And that's what I try to tell people. I rebuild them myself. And then I polish and paint and everything myself. But as far as the buying the Royal Enfield Himalayan, I was contacted by a fan on the early YouTube channel, and he said that he had a Royal Enfield Himalayan that he bought. It was a 2018 that he bought new old stock in 2020, and he just didn't want to ride. He had it trailered from the dealer, and he bought it from one of the dealers I went to look at, and he trailered it up to his house in Columbus, and he said, I'd like to make a deal for you. He said, I'll sell you this bike for $1,000 if you promise to make some videos on it. Hello! And that was the start of my Himalayan story. And I hope you guys get a kick out of it. I'm going to actually tell that story in one of my next videos, so you got a little pre-shot there. So let's see what we got here. Lone Assassin, the Samurai Series 6 discs. Hi, Fadden True, how you doing? Glad to see you. He has a 2008 Royal Enfield. Fantastic. Obviously, it's probably a Bullet, correct? Peter says, is the Royal Enfield very popular in the USA? It's growing by leaps and bounds, and I would say it's probably the best-selling when you can get them. Put it to you this way: it's really cheap, like in India. The cost, I've said, some people have been telling me the cost has been going up because of the fact that they're hard to get, but they're very extremely hard to get, which means their prices have climbed a little bit. But they're pretty much selling everyone they can get. Okay, let's see. We will support you and get you to a place where you can afford all new bikes. Well, I appreciate that, guys. I mean, that means a lot. I'm not asking for that. All I want you to do is subscribe and watch my videos. That's all I ever ask of you. That's it. And, kind of watch them to the end if possible, because that really helps on the algorithm as well, too. Plus, I put some goofy things in the post-credit scene. I like to try to do stuff like that, put some funny little quips and stuff. And I may start adding some stuff at the very end. I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking about doing that, trying to get people to, kind of like what Marvel does with their movies, to put like a little, Easter egg at the back. And I think that's going to start doing that. Let's see. You can't even sell it if it's 50,000 kilometers. I don't really know what you're saying there. If you can't sell the bike because it has over 50,000 kilometers on it, or you can't sell it even if you wanted $50,000 for it or whatever. But that's cool. And he said he studied engineering. Itchy Boots started my wife off, caused a lot of excitement. That's good. Stuart says, why can't I meet a guy like that? Well, I mean, I never expected it either. But I'll tell you, the best way to buy a motorcycle is when you don't want it, or not looking for it. If you're looking for it or need something, don't buy it. You'll pay too much money. But if you're not looking, that's like I look for deals every day. I mean, I have a lot of contacts in the motorcycle industry all over Northeast Ohio still, and I look at motorcycles all the time. I know there's a particular motorcycle that I'm looking to get from my youth, and I haven't been able to find one yet. But I'd like to have another one. But I'm always on the lookout. I mean, I bought my Road King that way. I bought my Dyna that way. I bought my Sportster that way. I bought my Softail that way. I wasn't looking for them. I had motorcycles. I had a Triumph here until 2019, and I sold it to a dealership. Actually, they were wanting to have that motorcycle, and I ended up selling it to them. But I just look. I don't need anything. And so if I find the right deal at the right place. Now, I love to test ride all motorcycles, and I used to do that without being filming, but filming now I have to put it on the weather. Number one, most dealers won't let you go out in the rain, and number two, my camera stuff would get wet and ruin the camera, and I don't want to do that. Those things are expensive. Andy says, got to run, Jeff. Thanks for all the content. Looking forward to watching the new Himalayan videos. Cheers. Cheers to you, Andy. Stuart says, still come in stock. Oops. Still some in stock in New Orleans, and still at the same price. Fatima means it's like people took time to get better. I agree. Do you make videos when you service any of your bikes so we can learn? Yeah, in fact, that's one of the things that I have in the mix. I did a service on the Himalayan, and I decided to do this video instead, and I got to see where it's going to come out. It'll be this week, next week, or the week after. You'll see that oil change video and adjust the clutch and check the brakes in the whole 9 yards. I like to, in the throttle too, to set the throttle at the right place. I want to make sure everything is right that way, and I'll show you all how to do that with a brake check, with an oil change, If you don't know, besides the filter, inside where you pull the oil out, there's a little screen to catch material so it doesn't shoot it back through. How to take that out, clean that as well too. So yeah, there will be that on the video as well too. I have had a lot of requests. Like, have you had a chance to see my pulling the tank off of the Royal Enfield Himalayan? Because I did I wired up a USB port in the front part of my bike with a Enfield Accessories Pro mount, and people saying, man, you took that tank off so quick, we wanted to see how to do it. So I actually made another video, and it was pretty popular too, of how to remove the tank. So anytime I do anything on the Himalayan, I try to film. The other bikes I don't do so much. Like I started to film me doing M's Sportster handlebar job, but then it became such a tremendous hassle that I couldn't film and do all the intricate things and then try to edit a 4.5 to 5 hour video. It wasn't going to be worth it to me. So I decided to pass doing the final parts to it. And Fat and True says, dollars. Yeah, you're exactly. Yes, True. I like your video. Thank you. And I appreciate that, Fat and True. I really, really appreciate you coming and being part of the Ol Man Ronin crew. Stuart says, long shot question. Have you ever thought about seeing Adam Sandoval, K-River? If I'm ever out that way, I'll stop by and say, hey, he's got a great channel. I just, it's not on the plan right of now, but if I'm ever in the area, yeah, you bet. I will. You bet. Fat and True says, sorry for work. Not at all. I don't know what you mean by that. It's a privilege having you here. Stuart says, we'll see that video. All I did this time was change the oil. And it's an easy bike to change. I mean, there's a plug, but the plug is in the middle of a 3-bolt, what do you call it? Not bracket, but cover. Pull that bolt out, drain the oil, get the oil filter out. And then there's a little screen under there that you need to take out. Make sure you clean it out too, and make sure you use, I would suggest an oil-based solvent, not something harsh, because it's delicate. And that's something that I would really recommend. I just use kerosene and then put it in with the oil. This way it's not too flammable, and it's not going to harm make sure it's good and dry when you're done, but there won't be a residue left over either. Kerosene is one of the old-timer stuff they use to clean the motor parts. I don't know. They don't do it too much anymore. I know they use special kinds of solvents and things like that, but I still use kerosene, man, because, I'm Ol Man Ronin. Didn't do the clutch brakes, etc. And I get that. I mean, that's something I'm very conscious of all the time, is the play in the throttle. Not that things go bad, but there's springs in there, and I like to feel it and see how it feels and make sure that the cables are lubricated in the whole 9 yards. It's something that's important. His father had a 72. He was in England once. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been a lot of places when I was a kid. My father had a job that enabled him to travel all over the world. I did not have that job. But I was able to go with him pretty much all through my teen and early 20 years. And so that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing that a lot. And like I said, I've been to India. I've been to China, pretty much all over the Middle East, all over Europe, Australia, Argentina, Chile, Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia, got it pretty much all over. Ecuador, Peru, pretty much all over South America, Mexico, you name it. And then, of course, I've taken motorcycles to Alaska twice, down to Mexico 3 times, and then back and forth to California at least 9 times, and God, at least 10 times to Sturgis. I don't go to those rallies anymore. Beckham says, please check Yamaha RX100 as well. Royal Enfield and RX100 are 2 bikes which people still ride with pride. For cruise has always been Royal Enfield. India for fun, the RX100 is still the best. And that's kind of what I felt with the Royal Enfield Himalayan for me as well too, because I have these cruisers that some of them are super fast. Now people say, you got a Harley, it's not that fast. My 1200 is freaking fast, dude. It'll keep up, if not pass, a lot of sport bikes on the market because it's built. I've got it built strong. But and my Road King is fast too, but it is still a cruiser. But for me, the Himalayan has opened so much more fun. It's such a light in comparison. Now it's not as light as your RX100. There's no doubt about that. But it is a really fun light bike from a guy coming off of 800-pound motorcycles. You can meet me in South India. Yeah, if I ever get back that way, I would love to do a motorcycle tour of India. I wasn't able to do it when I was over there. I rode a motorcycle, but I was only in Mumbai, and that's the only place I was able to ride a motorcycle at. So Dennis says, how many miles on your Himalayan now? 3 grand, a little over 3. And Fat and True says, or maybe the USA, hey, if you get over here, just give us a shout. olmanronin@gmail.com. I'm always available to comment back or get a hold of me. And that's why I want to tell you again, please go to it's a brand new, I opened it back when I started the channel, but I didn't do anything with it. It's called Fans of Ol Man Ronin. It's on Facebook. It's a Facebook group, and join that. And we got some special things. Like I said, I give away free stickers for members of the Fans of Ol Man Ronin. So go over there, join that. You have to be approved. I have to approve you. Let's see. Do I know RD350 Yamaha? The old two-stroke, if you're talking about that, I used to have one. I mean, that's a long time ago, man. We're talking the 70s. But the 350, that two-stroke was a blast motorcycle. I love the old two-strokes. Now, those were not off-road bikes. They were high revving, man, 12,000 RPM. But they smoked like crazy, and that's why they're no longer. So, yeah, that RD350 was a great little bike. I had that, and I had a old Honda 305 Dream at the day. I've had quite a few everything. You and Norale, have you ever made a trip with her? No, she's not got to the U.S. yet. And if she would want to, but again, she's a big time YouTuber. She doesn't even know who Ol Man Ronin is. So, but she's more than welcome. Her Two Wheels was on here just a little bit ago, and she's a huge YouTuber as well too. And so, yeah, there's always a chance, but it is. I don't ever make promises or claim anything. I just know me, and I just really, what you see is what you get. I don't try to talk any BS. If I don't like something, I don't say anything. If I do like something, I'll tell you, and I'll tell you over and over and over and over and over again, maybe into redundancy. But if I don't like something, you will never hear me mention it. Why is that? There's plenty of other people out there, and that's not what I'm about. I don't need to badmouth anything. That's not my game. Bikram says, you're ever going to do a Royal Enfield trip in India, you must do it in Nagaland or however you pronounce that, and don't listen to anything anyone tells you. Google or search it on YouTube. You got it, man. And that Fat and Truth says that's the RD350 is the favorite bike ever, and it's a great motorcycle. So those old Suzuki and Yamaha two-strokes were a blast. They were fast revvers. Now, a long time ago, I had a GS 1100 ES Suzuki, and that was the fastest motorcycle top speed-wise, I've ever ridden. And I had her up to 162 miles an hour. But I used to race on that one. That's been a long time ago. That's something that I don't talk about. But that was a lot of fun. I had a really good time on that bike. Quite a few times I wrecked that bike, too. On the track, not on the road, on the track. Stuart says, dinner ready to go. Thanks again. Hey, Stuart, appreciate it. I'm out of beer, and that was the last one that I had, so we'll cheers you in water. Well, we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to ask if there's anybody else wants to have any more questions. If not, we're going to shut her down for a little bit. This is going to be a fairly short one. Like I say, an hour and 15 minutes we've been on. Please do a video in one of your Harleys and tell us how you build it and what it means to you. I definitely will. There are a couple out there. There's a top 5 videos of what I love about my Sportster 1200. There's a top 5 videos of what I love about my Softail Deluxe. There's a top 5 videos of what I love about my Road King, and there's a top 5 videos of what I love about my Iron 883. So there's 4 of them out there right now. The Dyna, I'm not loving on it very much right now because it's a piece of crap. I only paid $300 for it, and it is really rough, man. That's why we call it the Toad Glide. But I did put a new set of bars on. I did a mock-up. If you go to Instagram, you'll see that mock-up picture. And I put the new drag style bars on it just to see what it looked like. So go to Instagram.com/Ol Man Ronin and see it there. I also put a picture of my stepdaughter Emily on there as well too. Gary's Rambling says, I think there's a difference between older bikes and newer ones. None of us have had any money. We spanned old wrecks and got them running, dealership maintenance, and the skills are all. I think that's probably true. I mean, we always worked on stuff. But then again, I was that kid, and I don't know if it's prevalent in the rest of the world or not. But I was that kid that would get the lawnmower out and tear it apart just to see what made it work. And like I said before, it was the bane of my dad's existence. I would do it with radios. I would do it with TV sets. I'd just tear stuff apart and see if I could put it back together and make it work. The first couple times they didn't, and my dad gave me a good shellacking. But the rest of the times I was able to figure it out, and it made me fairly comfortable with working on things. And so I think that's lost on these newer or younger kids. They don't have the opportunity. And I don't think the patience level's there either. They just take it and get it fixed, or just sell it and have, which is great because I buy all their old motorcycles. Hey, Jeff, thanks for the live stream, Jeff. Hey, appreciate it, Jeff. Glad that you're on here. Backroom says, please pin your Instagram in the comments. Okay, let's do this. Pardon the silence while I write this. I'm not very good at typing, guys. Bear with me. And then it's this. On Facebook, there you go. Fat says he'd love to have an interceptor, and I would do too. Thor says she'll eventually come over to the U.S. She had to stop the tour. I know, I saw that because of her. I watch her videos every time they're out. I really do enjoy Norley. I think she's a really cool little girl, and I shouldn't say it, young lady. People like to be called that anymore. I don't know why, but anyways. And that was her plan. I know I really wanted to see that because she'd probably be going on a lot of the places I've been. I'm actually going to do it. There's a what do you call it? Trans-Ohio Trail. It doesn't go through the entire state, but I'm going to do that in one of the upcoming videos coming up. It's kind of a cool, it's mostly road though, there's not a lot, it's mostly road and farm trails, and I do that anyway, but we're going to do it just to say we did it. It'll be part of my Himalayan story. I really like that concept that I came up with, and what made me do it is watching the Himalayan story itself that Royal Enfield put out, and I thought, you know, I'm kind of doing the same thing already. I think I'm going to target that particular title and call it my Himalayan story. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you, Ikram. I appreciate it. Your idea is Vicky Sala. Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, if there's any other questions you do before we end the live stream, I'd like to get them through and talk to you a little bit more. I do have some things coming up with Harley Davidson. I hope that'll turn some of you all off. I know we have become a very, very Royal Enfield heavy channel, and that's fine. I love it. But again, we still have Harley Davidsons, and we still love riding them. Gary says, good night, mate. It's going to be midnight and up early tomorrow. Cheers. And again, cheers, Gary. Thank you. He said he wished I had a talk with her. Well, if you know the owner, put in a good word for me. But Thor says can't wait to see that tour. It'll be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun. The Ohio Trans-Ohio Trail. It should be good. What was your longest distance in one day? I rode all the way from Ohio to Orlando, Florida at one time, which was, I think it took me 16 or 17 hours, and then I came right back, but I took 2 days to come back. So that was about 1,400, 1,500 miles, something like that, from where I lived. I was living up northeast Ohio at the time. So yeah, yep, that's my longest one day. About that, you know, like I say, it took me a long time, but I was a lot younger then too. Fat True says he loves Harley Davidson, but yeah, the cost, I know. That's why I don't have any new ones. My Road King's a 2001. My newest Harley Davidson is a 2008. Yeah. I mean, so it's already, what, 15, 16, 17 years old. So. Well, guys, I really appreciated you joining me with this YouTube live stream again. I really enjoyed talking to you, explaining a little bit about what the My Himalayan Story was all about, also talking a little bit about the what we did today and some of the upcoming things. I want to really emphasize, please join that Facebook group. friends of Ol Man Ronin. I have a page there too, Ol Man Ronin, that basically is redundant of Instagram, and of course Instagram as well. If you want to be a Patreon, it's patreon.com/Ol Man Ronin, and of course always follow me and watch the videos here on YouTube, youtube.com/Ol Man Ronin. Malcolm says, just wants to applaud me for what I'm doing in my head to say what. Now I feel really old. No, I'm just teasing, man. Thank you. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, thumbs up it. Make sure you share and comment below after we're already done, because it will be going and you'll be able to watch it again if you want to. If you missed or you came in late, you'll be able to see some of the early things we talked about. Until next time, ride safe, everybody. Make sure you comment, share, like, and of course subscribe. Join Patreon. Helps me out a lot. Keep her on two wheels, baby. Bye-bye.